Have you seen Dreamcatcher?
No, I don't think I've seen that one. I think we might have to stick it on. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Have You Seen podcast. A brand new podcast based on those kind of conversations you have with people about film where you say, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Each episode I'm going to be sitting down with someone and watching either a film that I've not seen or that they've not seen, and we can both bring together our thoughts to the table and discuss it. It's kind of like telling your mate to watch something and then arguing with them about whether, when they don't like it or they love it. And maybe you don't like it and you've told them to watch it because you expect them not to like it, and they actually do. So earlier today I was sat with my girlfriend Jodie. Say hi, Jodie.
Hello.
And she said to me,
have you seen Dreamcatcher?
And I hadn't. So, to the point where I actually know nothing about the film whatsoever. I didn't know what it were about, who were in it. So we stuck it on and we sat and we watched it. So I'll give a brief synopsis of it after watching it, and I'll just see kind of what if this kind of sums it up. So, Dreamcatcher is a film. We've got 4 friends who are played by Thomas Jane, Jason Lee, Timothy Olyphant, and Damien Lewis, and they're all linked by something in the early stages. You don't quite know what it is. You see that they've got some kind of like telepathic connection, which stems back to their childhood. When they met an old friend called Duddits, and he was kind of in the middle of being bullied, and they saved him, and they all kind of formed this strange connection. So they've all got some kind of telepathic link, but Timothy Olyphant's character's got this power to be able to find things in the distance. He can kind of wiggle his finger in the air and find things that they're looking for. And in the present, they all get together, but something crazy starts happening. They're in a cabin in the woods, and they meet a couple of people who promptly die in really weird ways, and then randomly there's an alien that comes out of the dead bodies and attacks them. So then we've got this like really crazy fight against aliens and the military, because it's an American film, so there's going to be a military presence ready to just blow everything to shit. That kind of sums up the story, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Also, it's based on a Stephen King novel, which came out in 2001, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 2001. Because this film's like early 2000s itself. I think the film was 2003.
Yeah.
But yeah, so have you read the novel then?
I've got it.
Is it one of those big ones that you just look at and think, I'll read that one day?
No offence to Stephen King, but sometimes I find his stuff a bit hard to read. I have got it. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to read it because I'm always when I've watched something, I'm always kind of intrigued. I've got quite a lot of books of the films that I like that I've kind of gone back and read. So I've got the book, the Running Man, which has just come out, the brand new Running Man. I've read the book of that with Stephen King. I've not read many Stephen King stories, in fairness, but
I've
books,
read a few.
Yeah. But books like stuff like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and then the original. Like I read recently, I read the original book that Die Hard was based on, which has got it's completely different, more or less, is the story to what happens in Die Hard. So I do quite like, and I don't mind doing it that way around, going back and reading the books. So obviously, you sat there earlier on and you said to me, have you seen Dreamcatcher? And I've not. So what made you suggest Dreamcatcher? Was there something else? Was there something? Because sometimes when you start going, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Were you watching something else and something made you...
We were watching something, I can't remember what it was.
I think it was when we mentioned... We were talking about...
Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah,
it
we
was
were
Donnie
talking about
Wahlberg.
Sixth Sense, weren't we?
Yeah.
So we were talking about Sixth Sense whilst we were watching... What were we watching?
We were watching one of them quizzes.
Yeah, we were watching like a quiz on YouTube, weren't we?
Yeah.
That's it. And the image came up showing Donnie Wahlberg in the opening scene of Sixth Sense. And you turned to me and went, have you seen Dreamcatcher? And I was like, no. and I don't even know anything about it. So then we were like, right, we'll stick that on. And that's kind of what I'm wanting to do with this podcast. Those kind of things where somebody just says to somebody, have you seen? And then you find out they've not. And it's like, well, you have to watch this. Because sometimes you find out gems of films that you really enjoy. And then you find out, and then you also get that situation where somebody will be like, why have you told me to watch that shite? Which is usually what happens when I tell you to watch stuff.
Yep.
So that was kind of what made you suggest Dreamcatcher in the first place. So do you remember back to when you kind of first saw it at all? Was it when you saw it in cinema or?
No.
Well,
no, I want to see it in cinema. It came out in 2003. I didn't in secondary school.
Yes. What certificate is it?
I think it's an 18.
Is it an 18 certificate? I mean, I've got the IMDb page open here. And IMDb's got it down as a 15.
Oh, 15
so you
then.
probably could have seen it in the cinema, but...
No, I didn't. I saw it on... I think my mum bought it for me because I liked I liked and I still like Jason Lee.
Oh, you fancy Jason Lee, so your mum were like,
Yeah.
oh, she'll like this then.
Yeah, so I think my mum got me to watch it.
So probably a film that your mum had seen before herself.
No, I don't think so.
Just because Jason Lee were in it.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of like the Kevin Smith stuff, which he's in a lot.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So that's probably why she got it me, I think.
So
I've got it upstairs somewhere.
So that's the copy that you've still got now.
Yeah.
So do you remember kind of like, do you remember much about watching it the first time, and did you instantly enjoy it?
Well, obviously at the time when I was younger, I didn't know they were based on books, obviously, because I weren't aware of Stephen King at the time.
Yeah.
Same with like watch stuff about it and that. So watching it, I went in it blind, so I didn't know what it was about. And obviously my mum knew at that time I was into horror, so whether she knew it was a horror at the time, I don't know.
You see, I've heard of the title of Dreamcatcher before, but I've never known what it were about. And I've always assumed, weirdly, I was saying this to you while it were on, wasn't I? That if somebody had said to me before today, what's Dreamcatcher about? I would have thought, weirdly, that it was some kind of like animated film or some kind of like Page Master type film, like some kind of kiddie fantasy.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was a horror film. So I came into it completely fresh, not knowing anything about it, and not really with any hype either. Because I think hype can kill.
No, I think it is one of the better Stephen King adaptations of his books.
Well, jumping ahead a little bit, I have to say that I actually really enjoyed it.
Oh yes, I like it. I think it's good.
So have you seen it a few times then?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it a lot when I was younger.
And wait, so is it the type of film that you'd watch because you enjoyed? What is it that you enjoy about it? Is it like the story, or is it that there's just aliens killing people and that in it? What's the kind of thing that draws you into a film like that?
It were a film that I used to put on just for background because I know it's a long film. So, and when I'm doing stuff such as my drawing and whatever else, I like to listen to things. So I knew it were a long film, so I didn't have to mess around changing often. It's like over 2 hour film.
Yeah, it's like 2.25 hours, which when we put it on, I was quite surprised. But then when you think about it being a Stephen King adaptation, a lot of Stephen King stuff is quite long because there's a lot of
there's
content.
a lot of stuff they need to get through.
You think a lot of Stephen King things got adapted into TV series, so they were quite long. So like the original It film, TV miniseries were two long episodes. So yeah, it's probably not a surprise that it is fairly long. I noticed there's a lot in the films, quite a bit of Stephen King type tropes in there. So when it shows it's got your 4 friends now and flashing back to 4 friends back in the day, and even watching it, it felt like you could have been watching extra scenes from films like Stand By Me or It. Yeah. Where it's got your kids walking around, just kids being kids getting bullied. And that happens so many times in Stephen King stuff, doesn't it? When you've got that kind of... And I don't know whether there's anything in Stephen King's history, like in his past, where that was his life. Because obviously they're all set around Maine and...
I think he's from... Is he from Derry, Maine?
He's from there. Well, he's from Maine. I'm not sure if is he from Derry?
Is Derry a real place?
Yeah, I don't even actually know if Derry is an actual real place that exists in the world and is actually somewhere you can actually go to. I am just having a.
He's from Portland.
So he's from Portland. So he's not even. Oh, so he's from Portland, which is in Maine. Yeah. So I expect Derry is probably kind of a vision of what Maine means to him. I've just seen that his birthday's day after mine, not obviously the same year. But yeah, so there's a lot of things in there where it feels like the other Stephen King stuff. So like I said, the boys kind of walking at one point, they're more or less walking next to train tracks, which is very Stand By Me. There's one point where when it's showing them as kids, one of them's wearing the big yellow Mac.
Yeah.
That's like Georgie in It. And I know that happens quite a lot in Stephen King adaptations where there are callbacks to other stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite good that you get that. It kind of keeps it all together. So you can kind of tell that it's a Stephen King adaptation. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I say, I went into it not knowing anything at all about what the film was about. I didn't know that there were aliens in it. I didn't know it were a kind of fantasy. I didn't even know there were actually like comedy in it as well, because it's quite funny in parts, but I don't know if it's intentionally funny.
I don't know. Obviously, the actors like Jason Lee and Timothy Olyphant, they are pretty much usually not comedy actors, but when they play characters, Jason Lee is, 'cause he does a lot of comedy.
He does
stuff, but I don't know. I'm not sure about Timothy Olyphant.
But Jason Lee, and I said this earlier on, that whenever Jason Lee's delivering lines in anything, it almost feels like they've just given him an outline of the script, and they've just kind of let him just kind of riff on stuff, and that a lot of the times it's just stuff that he's just saying on the spur of the moment on set. So I like Jason Lee in everything he's in. I thought he was good in this for the short amount of time that he's in it. Spoilers. Timothy Olyphant, decent. Damien Lewis were actually really good in this, and he started off with, and it's kind of weird because he kind of plays two parts in the role. So halfway through, I suppose about a third of the way through, effectively one of the aliens takes over Damien Lewis. So he's kind of got two sides to him then, and it's really funny because obviously we know that Damien Lewis is English, but when he's talking as Mr. Grey, the alien, he puts on like a really strong English accent, but he sounds like he's doing posh butler English. It really made me laugh every time. And then obviously he's kind of flipping between.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I didn't know it was his voice. I thought it was John Cleese.
Oh,
doing the voiceover.
Oh, they were dubbed over.
Yes, I thought it sounded like John Cleese.
It is because it's quite a comical voice, and it does make it. There is an element of comedy when he's talking, and then probably unintentional comedy is Thomas Jane's acting. And I always find this with Thomas Jane. He's just a shit actor. What do you think to it? Because he's more or less the main part. Him and Damien Lewis are the main parts, aren't they?
I like him.
But I mean, the other stuff that he's been in, because he was in The Mist.
Yeah.
And I mean, his acting in that the scope of everybody's acting in The Mist is staring out of a window and going nearly all the way through. And then, I think the only other big film that I know him from really is Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, no one saw that were big.
Yeah.
Did he do Punisher at one point? No?
I think he was Punisher. I've not seen Punisher. But I think he's one of those actors who just kind of gets. I think he's probably one of those actors who just takes on anything. And there was a time when he was popping up in everything. So he's in Boogie Nights as well, which I've not actually seen. But when you look at his list of films that he's been in, like one of his films, I'm scrolling through now, one of his films is actually rated on IMDb 2.9, another one 3.2, 3.5. So he's never been, that good.
He's probably not bothered about being, major. He just probably wants stuff to just pay bills.
He's probably just happy paying bills and acting, but that don't make him a good actor.
He does.
There's one point in this film where he's having to deliver some quite dramatic lines when he's in the car with Tom Sizemore, and he's delivering these lines, and I just kept having flashbacks to like when we've watched Saw and the end scene of Saw and Cary Elwes's line delivery at the end of Saw. It's like where he struggles to kind of do that dramatic. But yeah, I think I really enjoyed it, and I know that Stephen King adaptations can be really hit and miss, can't they?
Yeah, there's a few that are a bit like, that's a bit rubbish.
So, can you think of any? What are the ones that, off the top of your head, that you can think of that are bad King adaptations?
Langoliers.
Langoliers. I watched when I was young, and I think I only watched it because Dean Stockwell were in it, and I were obsessed with Quantum Leap. And I remember watching Langoliers, but that is really low budget, isn't it?
What's that?
Langoliers is really
yeah,
low
that's
budget.
really low budget.
It is really low budget. There are some dodgy ones. I know there's been the Dark Tower were apparently really bad, but that were condensing like 6 books into a 2-hour film, which were never going to happen. And I think then they were good, but then like the original It, we've watched it recently, and I'm not even a fan of It. The original. What did you think when we watched that?
I liked it. I like Tim Curry though, so.
Yeah, but Tim Curry's hardly in it, is he? Let's face it. But he does pop up. But then, I mean, there are some good King adaptations. Like, I mean, you've not seen Shawshank, have you?
I probably won't either, so I prefer the...
You will if I bring it up on this and I say to you, have you seen Shawshank? Because I'll make you watch it.
I prefer the supernatural Stephen King ones rather than... So I'm not a big fan of Stand By Me either.
Yeah, because I think he's done...
I like the supernatural ones.
Yes, but then there's ones that become supernatural when they've really got no right to it. So Green Mile, for example. The Green Mile starts off more or less, it's basically a prison film, but turns into, it's got supernatural elements in it. Like this one, obviously, in the one we've just watched in Dreamcatcher, it started off and it was like, right, they've got a connection. Is this going to be supernatural? And then it was like, oh no, it's Stephen King, of course it's not. Of course there's going to be some aliens involved. And when the aliens came out, there were a small part of me that went, we're going with aliens. It's Stephen King and we're going with aliens. Is that where we're at with this? And then, having seen other Stephen King stuff, I kind of half expected the ending to be a Mist ending. I thought they were going to do an ending like in The Mist, but they didn't. I mean, slight spoilers, we get an happy ending. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I actually don't think this would probably be the last time that I'd watched Dreamcatcher. I thought it were an enjoyable film.
Call it Dreamcast again.
Did I just call it? So yeah, I quite enjoyed Dreamcatcher. I thought it were good. I think I had something slightly spoiled for me when we were talking about Donny Osmond. No, we weren't. Donny Osmond. Donny Wahlberg.
Donny Osmond.
It'd have been a different film if Donny Osmond had been in it. That'd have been awesome if Donny Osmond had popped up. Donny Wahlberg. Because obviously we talked about Donny Wahlberg, and that's how we got linked to watch it in the first place, and he'd not turned up yet. And then about 3/4 of the way through film, I were like, oh, is Donny Wahlberg the grown-up version of the young lad that they met at the beginning then? And it's like, oh yeah, I've kind of spoiled that for myself now, haven't I? I mean, it's not really a spoiler, he just turns up. It's not like he comes back from the dead or he just turns up in the last scene and saves everybody. But yeah, so I enjoyed it. I think it's a good cast, good story, and I'm actually quite pleased that you said to me earlier on, have you seen? So there we go. We've watched Dreamcatcher, which you recommended to me. You just said, have you seen Dreamcatcher? And I'd not. So I need to give you a film now. So I need to find a film that you've not seen. So I'm going to ask you, have you seen Titanic?
No.
Why did you say it like that?
About 5 minutes and then I've turned out it's boring.
Well, it is boring at the start, but we'll get into that when we watch it. But so you've not seen Titanic, which means
not all the way through.
No, but you're going to be watching it because that's going to be the next film on episode 2. We're going to be watching Titanic, and then we'll be finding out your thoughts. You're probably going to hate every minute of it. you're probably going to
Well, it's not like it's a surprise. I know what fucking happens at the end.
Well, yeah, no, spoilers for the next episode. The boat sinks. Right?
Well, it's not a spoiler. Everyone knows what happened to Titanic.
But obviously, you'll know, because it's such an icon, because it's been out since 1997, and you'll have seen clips and stuff, you'll know bits that happen, and you'll know kind of what happens to certain things. But we'll get into that next episode, and we'll watch Titanic. So join us on the Have You Seen podcast for episode 2. Don't forget too that this is your podcast, so if you've got one of those films that you want to recommend and you want to say to me, have you seen this? Just message me. You message me, let me know what films you recommend, and if I've not seen them, then we can watch them. And who knows, we can get you on and we can talk about the films together. I've been Dave.
And I'm Jodie.
And thank you very much for listening. Tune in for the next episode and we'll be watching Titanic. Take care. Right, go on.
Have you seen Dreamcatcher?
Come on. Just do a bit of acting. This is your... I'm still recording. This is your drama school thing.
I didn't do drama school. I did it in GCSE and I got a D.
This is your GCSE drama now, right? So...
Have you seen Dreamcatcher? What else do you want me to do?
Just say, like, so it's still...
Like what?
Just like... Have you seen Dreamcatcher?
That's what I did, Ethan. It wasn't good enough for you.
Right, go on, do it again.
Have you seen Dreamcatcher?
No, I don't think I've seen that one. I think we might have to stick it on.